Greg has come to Carnarvon in North Wales, where the local records for Porthmadog, the town of his grandmother Edith's birth, are kept. He's looking for any clues which might help him discover the identity of Edith's father, his great-grandfather.
Anwyn?
Hi.
Hello. Nice to meet you.
You too.
I'm on the trail, I think, of my great-granddad, who had some children with Elizabeth Thomas, my great-grandmother.
OK. I've been having a look through our newspapers and I think I found a little snippet that could be of use to you. So this is a copy of the Herald Cymraeg, which is a local Welsh language newspaper for 1907.
And they're giant. That's the first thing I noticed.
They are giant, yes. So this is an entry for May the 14th. You might be able to pick out a couple of words that are familiar.
Well, not really. My Welsh isn't.
No. But you might be able to spot Porthmadog, which is the area your great-grandmother lived.
Ah, Elizabeth Thomas, yeah. And Snowdon Street, which is where she lived.
That's right.
Right. Unfortunately, I don't understand what it says about
I
her.
have got a translation for you, which you can take that.
On the request of Mr. J. Jones Morris, William Owen of New Street was ordered to pay maintenance for the children of Elizabeth Thomas, Snowdon Street. So, William Owen is the name of my great-grandfather.
It would seem so, yes.
And that's a totally new name in this. So the butcher was made up. And that won't mean anything to you, but that would have been a local scandal, do you think?
Yes, probably.
They weren't married.
No, they weren't, no. And they've had 2 children together, so it would have been known about in the local area.
At the beginning of the 20th century, illegitimacy cases were not uncommon. But the court system did little to reduce the shame and stigma associated with being a single mother. Women seeking child maintenance, like Elizabeth, faced public humiliation as they were expected to testify against the father in court.
I think we can take this a little bit further and have a look to see if we can find mention of that case coming up in the courthouse.
Wonderful.
So luckily for you, this is in English.
Yes.
So you should be able to find the entry yourself, so I'll leave you to it.
Well, thank you, Anwyn. Thank you very much. Elizabeth Thomas versus William Owen. There it is. This is June now. So the case is ongoing. Do you know, I think that says bastards. It can't, can it? It's actually bastardy with a Y. So they've gone back to court because presumably debt brought up. Yeah, he hasn't paid. Yeah, he's a very irresponsible father. It's what we've learned, I think. Now, already I'm softening towards Elizabeth and what she had to deal with. The amount due was now £1.12 6. And there's an order from the court, arrears to be paid by instalments of 5 shillings, 1 month for first payment, or 14 days. What does that mean? 1 month or 14 days? Probably need Anwyn to help me with. Hello. This is what I don't understand.
Right. I'd assume that the 14 days would refer to a prison sentence for not paying the amount.
Oh, so he would go to prison if he didn't
pay the amount within the month.
Of course, it's prison. Well, they were serious then. I don't understand why he hasn't paid her.
He admits no effects, so he doesn't have the money to pay.
So he hasn't... Right. So it's not that he won't pay, he can't pay.
It's a case of he can't pay.
Because he hasn't got any money.
To follow the story of his great-grandfather William, Greg has come along the Welsh coast to Porthmadog.
It's really quite peculiar, having known my grandmother as well as I knew her, that years after her death, I suddenly uncover the name of her dad. William Owen was never mentioned by our family, and the reason he was never mentioned by our family is because no one, apart from Elizabeth, my great-grandmother, I don't think knew who he was. So I would like to know more about him.
Greg is meeting a local researcher, Elia Daniels.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
And you?
Can you tell me something more about my great-grandfather?
Yes, William Owen.
Yes.
Luckily for us, he did get mentioned a few times in the local newspapers.
Oh, was that unluckily for him, though?
Well, we shall see. The first mention is in 1901.
So this is before my grandmother was born.
Yes, a couple of years before.
Interesting.
Now then, there you'll see his name.
Hang on a minute. Well, I mean, straight away, that's interesting, because he was a butcher.
Yes.
And I've written the book. I'd written the idea of a butcher off. The fact that half-truth got passed down is so fascinating. Yeah. So William Owen, butcher, from Bank Place, was charged with having been drunk in charge of a horse and cart on the night of February the 12th. Catherine Carroll and Letitia Evans of Smith Street stated they saw the defendant leading a horse attached to a trap about 8 in the evening. Mrs. Carroll said she could not say he was drunk, neither could she say he was sober, but he was more drunk than sober. That's a great quote, more drunk than sober. Oh, that's good. Oh, William. Well, he was proved to have been drunk in charge of a horse, which I'm laughing at, but I suppose was fairly serious business in 1901.
Yes, it wouldn't have been regarded likely at all.
Like, it's drink driving, really, isn't it?
The next article relates to an incident that took place up the road on Snowdon.
What date's this, sorry?
1906.
06?
So this is moving on a little bit.
Now, my grandmother is now 2.
Yes.
Accident. A party of Portmadockites ascended Snowdon on Saturday night. Whilst ascending on Sunday morning after sunrise, William Owen, in trying to jump over some big stones, fell and seriously injured his leg. I don't want to sort of start casting aspersions, but was he... Climbing Snowdon on a Saturday night sort of suggests to me that maybe drink was involved.
Yeah.
He was probably trying to impress people. That's my gut instinct. But that might reflect very badly on me because I spent a lot of time as a young man showing off.
The first thing that came into my head was he was a bit of a show-off.
So interesting.
We managed to get hold of his birth certificate. You can read that.
So he was born in 1877?
Yeah. That's
his father is Evan Owen.
Yeah.
And his mother is Elizabeth Owen, formerly Jones. Occupation of father. He was a farmer?
Yeah.
Traumatic.
Yeah, that's right.
Where's Traumatic?
It's just on the outskirts of Portmadoc. And here we find William himself in 1881. So this is the first census he would have been on.
4 years after his birth?
Yeah.
Right. William Owen. There he is, yeah. He lived in Bank Place in Portmadoc. Relation to the head of the family, grandson. These are the grandparents.
Yeah.
Robert Jones.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Jones. So he's living with his grandparents?
Yeah. Yes.
Not with his parents?
The Jones grandparents, yes.
Right. What did they do? Did they work? Ah. So the grandfather is a butcher?
Yes.
I presume he went into the family business then. So why is he living with Elizabeth's parents and not with Elizabeth and Evan?
That's the big question.
What's the big answer?
You need to go to Traumadoc next.
Where William was born?
He was registered in
Traumadoc?
In Traumadoc.
I knew I was born to be a detective. I mean, admittedly, you've done all the hard work. But...
Yeah.
Having uncovered the identity of his great-grandfather, William Owen, Greg has also found out that his great-great-grandparents were Evan and Elizabeth Owen. Greg now wants to investigate why 4-year-old William was not living with his parents, Evan and Elizabeth, but with his maternal grandparents, Robert and Elizabeth Jones.